Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is feel good. Feeling good is much more important than pretty much anything else. And this feeling good idea gets to every aspect of your life, right? So it probably starts with that you have some measure of health, that you're not like sick and hurting all the time. So let's say the first thing is to make sure you're not sick and hurting. And this is difficult because you're gonna get sick and you're gonna hurt, right? And that's, there's a huge market for medications and prescriptions and devices to get you over being sick and getting hurt and injuries and problems like that. So at a minimum, you got to spend a considerable effort in the keeping your health and vitality and energy and avoiding illness and pain. I mean, for me, there's like simple things you would do to feel good health-wise. Sleep enough, the 7, 8, 9 hours a night. And then the other problem a lot of people have is they don't sleep all the way through the night. Well, even if you sleep 9 hours, but if you get up in the middle of the night, that's really not going to be that great for you. Somehow you got to fix that problem. If you're getting up at night, somehow you got to fix that problem. The other thing with the sleep is you probably have to take some naps here and there during the week. There's some anecdotal evidence that a couple of naps a week help your heart health quite a bit. And I would try to schedule some naps into your system. Usually, for me, I like it on the weekend because I'm probably going to stay up late on the weekend nights, but I'm still going to get up at more or less the same time. So then I'm going to be tired. So I'd luxuriate in a nice nap later on a Saturday or a Sunday, at the right time. Now, this doesn't always work because you may have this great weekend schedule and you just don't have the time for the nap. Well, hopefully what you're doing is so engaged and you can kind of bull your way through without a little less sleep. But give that idea some thought for the sleep. The other thing that will make you feel good is to get out and get some sun. You got to get a little color on your skin. This is May 2020 as I'm speaking. We're still dealing with this coronavirus, and one of the biggest helpful things what I'm reading about and learning about is the power of the vitamin D from the sun, not just from supplements and eating a lot of fish. It's the actual sun is what helps you the most. So if it's sunny out, try to get outside, and you don't have to go overboard. They usually talk in terms of 20 minutes of sun a day. And truthfully, it's very hard to get sun every day. Where I'm at, it's not sunny every day, so it isn't going to be possible. It isn't sunny every day. There's a lot of rain, a lot of snow, a lot of clouds. I don't live in a sunny environment. But when the sun is out, I try to get out, and especially now when it's finally gets summertime, you better get outside and get enough sun on your skin. Take your shirt off and all of that stuff. And if you don't have that, well, you got to take vitamin D supplements. That's probably the number one supplement that you should be buying year-round and have plenty of, and take the right amount of it. And it's going to be a lot more than they say, but do your own research. I like to take about 8,000 IUs, which is quite a bit, right? More than they say, but my health is important to me, so I'm going to do what makes me feel good. There's other things you can do with supplements. Vitamin C obviously is critical. That's a great supplement to have. Vitamin A, iodine, fish oil, magnesium, resveratrol. Those are kind of the main ones. multi. Take a multi to get a little bit of them all, and then, you know, maybe there's some extra ones that you need, like the ones I mentioned. You would do your own research and all this. There's so much information on it, it's hard to keep track. I like to look at like Dr. Bill Sardi, Dr. David Brownstein. They seem to have a little bit more information on this stuff. And yes, a lot of these guys are going to sell the supplements, and there's going to be conflicting evidence from other people but those other people seem to want to sell you expensive medications and doctor visits that I'm not interested in. So I'm going to just keep supplementing away, and it helps make me feel good. I know when I run out of the supplement, you know, let's say, because the stuff is expensive. It is. It's very expensive to buy supplements. No matter how cheap they say they are, they're not cheap. Let's say you run out of all of them at the same time, it's going to be quite expensive. And what happens to me is if I run out of all these at the same time, then all of a sudden I'm not taking any supplements for as long as it takes me to go to the store and buy more, or order them online and get them shipped to me, and it might take days or weeks before I get back to. And then in that gap, I certainly don't feel that good because I'm not, you know, I kind of run out. But part of it is, since you're mostly taking it, there is going to be it's going to take some time to get totally out of your system. So there's a little bit of time. Other thing is, sometimes it's not available. I mean, at the beginning of the COVID thing, I ran out of vitamin C. There was a run on that, just like there was a run on the toilet paper, because everybody knows that vitamin C, it's going to help you when you have wintertime illnesses. Everybody knows this. That's why we all use it. We're not stupid, all right? We know that the vitamin C helps us. So there was a run on it, and all I could find is some sugary gummy bear type vitamin C, so I had to get by with that while I was ordering some more very expensive vitamin C. If you get a good deal on it, get more of it. I don't think it goes bad. So the supplements, what are they? The sleep, the sun, the supplements, walking. Sometimes I like to take a walk in the sun. That's like a double thing, right? I try not to wear a hat unless my head is already way too red. Try to get my sleeves open, maybe a tank top, maybe shorts, in the summertime. The walking helps you. It's going to help you think. If you walk long enough, at the beginning of the walk, your mind is racing, and maybe by the end, you finally calm down, and maybe you have some extra good thoughts from the movement, the walking. The lifting, on the website, I got a lot of articles on weight training. It's my favorite activity. Now, we're all locked down from the lifting right now, right? Unless you have some at home. So that part, that's one of the things I hate the most about the lockdown is I can't lift. Because that's the thing that makes me in the best shape and make me feel the best. And that's the thing that will make you feel the best and look your best and live in a high quality way. That's how you feel good. So those are all the last one about your health is to eat more red meat. I've been studying this like crazy lately. It's very, very interesting about it. Maybe someday I'll get into this more, but if you, at a minimum, you want to eat a lot more red meat than you are, and a lot more red meat than they say to eat. And I think the more you do that, the better you're going to feel. It's a feel-good thing. And obviously, the more red meat you eat, hopefully the less sugar you eat. I find when I eat too much sugar, that's when I get sick. That's when I get sick. It just seems so obvious. Why do I always get sick in the first week in January after gorging on sugary Christmas time junk food? And then if I can overcome that desire to eat all that junk, I don't get sick. Well, it seems pretty simple, doesn't it? The sugar is a killer, the meat is a healer. But anyway, those are like physical things you can do to feel good. But in addition to that, you want to mentally feel good. And the way you mentally feel good is you always want to be doing things that you want to be doing. Think of it this way: if everything you do in your life you don't want to do, how are you going to feel good? Right? To me, it would be just totally impossible. Before I had the job I have now, I was in a job, and I thought it would be a good job for me, but I wasn't feeling good when I was there. I hated going. I hated driving there. I hated being there early in the morning. I hated, it was either massively stressful or boring beyond belief. People really weren't my cup of tea that I work with. I was doing things I didn't want to do. So how could I feel good, right? Seems pretty simple. If you hate being there, that isn't going to make you feel good, no matter how much money it is and how much. So I, made another drastic change. That's part of the reason I want to talk about this, is when to feel good, you might have to make some drastic changes in your life. And if you're listening to this with the idea of, well, how do I feel good? Simple. Well, it's probably not going to happen. You probably feel bad because you've got some serious wrong things in your life, and you got to make the drastic changes. Your wife might be giving you grief morning, noon, and night. You can hardly stand to look at her, as you know she's going to scream at you for something that she thinks you did wrong. She's going to delight in sarcastically remarking about you. She's not going to help you around the house. She's going to demand that you're kind of acting like a slave. She's not going to help you financially. So let me ask you, how can you feel good about your life if that's how you're living? You can't, right? You need to leave her. Get my book, Leave Your Wife, Become a Happier Man, 3-step system. You might be going to a bad job. You might be living in the part of town or the part of the state or the part of the country you just hate for some reason. And well, what difference does it make why you hate it? If you hate something, you got to make a drastic change. Right? So, yes, I wish there was a simple answer. Maybe the problems you have are fairly minor, and all you got to do is spend a little bit of effort. Well, if all you got to do is spend a little effort to make your life be better, to feel good, well then do it. But I think what's happening is you don't feel good because you have to spend massive effort. And at times in your life, you may have to go through massive effort to get to the good part. So all these stupid mistakes I've made in my life, so I left the second best job I ever had to go to this other job that turned out to be a nightmare job for me. Well, to get to the job I have now, I had to expend massive effort to get it. I was applying for jobs for many months, going through all of that constant reworking of my resume and cover letters and application forms and scouring, doing all the research. It was probably, I spent more hours a week looking for a job than I did at the actual job. It was a lot more than a part-time job. I had 2 full-time jobs. One was going there 40 hours a week to work, and the other was 40 hours a week to get a different job. To me, that was massive effort to get there. When I left my wife, it was a massive, disastrous, messy thing. It wasn't just a nice, smooth thing. It was messy and disaster and efforting beyond belief. And it took effort to get to the point where I knew I had to leave her. It took effort to leave her. It took effort to stay gone, and it took effort to recreate my life. But it's worth it, right? It's my life. I'm so much happier and so much better. But you've got to be prepared to put in massive effort if you want to feel good. Massive effort. Along with getting your mind right, so you know what kind of effort to take. Get that PDF on my website. The 3-step system, just by subscribing. That'll kind of give you like the groundwork and how to start this process. But feeling good, I mean, that's the key to this. Whenever when things like on a huge scale, when people are afraid and things aren't going well, it's because people don't feel good, right? They're sick, they're scared, things aren't working out, there's lots of problems. Well, if all those things are true, you've got to start moving to the feel-good part of things. So feeling good, it's so critical. It's so important to your well-being. And at a minimum, you've got to keep your thoughts feeling good. You always want to be pulling your thoughts to something that's good. Not in the sticking your head in the sand, but just, in the short run, getting through so you're not just totally depressed and unhappy beyond belief every day. You don't want to be sticking your head in your sand. If your wife is screaming at you morning, noon, and night for no reason at all, well, just la-di-dying and thinking about a different girl that you may have known 20 years ago, well, that's not going to be much good, right? What's going to be good is leaving her. Leaving the wife, the screaming wife who's no good for you. But I'm talking about thinking about those old girlfriends. That will probably help you through a few minor punky times, right? So keep flipping the thoughts to the good. Flipping the thoughts to the good. Figuring out, taking good care of yourself, treating yourself like you're your best friend. All of these things will help you feel good. It is one of the most powerful ways to improve your life. All for now.